Okay, welcome back. Sorry they cut off so quick, but my time was up. Let's look at some more blessings. People who got blessings. In Genesis 12:2, and he said he would be a blessing to all the families on earth. That Abraham would be a blessing. Let's go back up to Genesis 17:2, and it says, in Abraham, I will make my covenant between me and thee, and will multiply thee exceedingly. It says that he is a blessing to all the families of the earth. Melchizedek verbally declared over Abraham, Blessed be Abraham of the Most High God, which hast delivered thy enemies unto thy hands. And Hebrews 7:1. It talks about the importance of the act of the blessing in Melchizedek. It was such a high blessing that he was doing that he considered it so anointed, let's say, so important, that they even had wine and bread, had a small communion between them before he pronounced the blessing. And in Hebrews 7:7, and without all contradiction, the less is blessed of the better. Melchizedek imparted a divine favor to Abraham through the spoken blessing. And in return, Abraham gave him 1/10 of all that he had earned to Melchizedek. So you people that don't believe in the tithe for the New Testament, here it says in Hebrews, it's talking about Abraham giving 1/10 of everything he had because he received a blessing from the priest, from the person who was a man of God. So don't come to me and tell me that the tithe is for the Old Testament. We see it in the New Testament, and that's not the only place in the New Testament, by the way. Don't worry about that. That's just a heater. Because it's cold outside today. Genesis 24:60, Rebekah received a special blessing from her family when she was going to get married to Isaac. And it says, Thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of thousands of millions. And let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them. So, we see that the concept of praying, laying hands, and with a spoken blessing, blessing people, created reaction. It changed people's lives. And if we could just understand, if I can just get my hands on those kids, if I could just get my hands on those people, and if they would just let me pray for them, their lives could be changed drastically. So, Jacob got the blessing instead of his older brother because of the manipulation of his mother. But it says in Genesis 28:1-3, it says that Jacob got another blessing when he left to go look for a wife. It even told him where to go and what family and what town to go to. The instructions of God were so precise. God knew who his wife was going to be, so he led him to the right place to get the right wife. It's too bad in today's society that the parents don't pray for their sons and daughters this type of prayer so that they get the right husband and right wife the first time, instead of making a gross error in their life and having to live miserably for several years. Instead of getting the right wife the first time and being blessed from the beginning. And there'd be a lot less hassle in the world today because of divorce. The devil is using divorce so well that when you see that the divorce rate, even in Christians, is 75% or more. I'm not sure what it is now. But I heard one time a thing about being 75%, the percentage of divorces in Christians, and in the world it's even more. But what a shame it is if we would just pray for our kids enough that they would understand this blessing, because Jacob got a wife. And he was even prayed for a third time by the Lord himself, when he said he was prayed for through a dream. Now this is Genesis 28:13 through 15. And it says, a message was spoken by the Lord himself to Jacob during a dream. We have strong evidence to support the authenticity of the first blessing spoken by Isaac. We have to understand that God speaks to us through dreams and visions too. It even says it in the Bible. And I forget who it was. The old get the visions or they get the dreams. I forget which. But I'm still getting both, so I don't consider myself that old. Even though I'm starting to get wrinkles and gray hair. And I already have the sag here, but I'm trying to get rid of that. But we have to understand that we need to do what God is instructing us to do. And the more I study, the more I see, the more I read, the more I listen to other pastors, the more I listen to Christian broadcasting and the good preaching that's there and the teachings that's there, and the more I dig and the more I learn, I'm amazed at how much I don't know. I can say that, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I don't know a lot of things about the Bible. If I knew what some of the pastors that I've seen in my lifetime, if I knew just half of what they know, I'd be really satisfied. But as we live, we learn. And we have to continue that way. In Genesis 32:24 through 30, it talks about when Jacob was wrestling. In some verses, in some Bibles, it says an angel. Mine, it says a man. But I believe it was probably an angel. I didn't check to go back to the Greek to see if it said the angel, but it's not important what it was, other than he wrestled with him all night. And he says, I'm not going to let you go until you give me a blessing. He realized this person was somebody capable of giving him a blessing. And he fought to get his blessing. We need to really think hard and long about blessings. When we understand the potential and the capacity and the reaction that happens because of people blessing us. Now, I'm not talking about any person just laying their hands on you and blessing you. There are certain people, they say they're Christians, but you know what? They're never going to lay their hands on me. Because I really wonder where they're coming from. But there are those who are really strong, hard, Bible-believing, Bible doctrine-oriented Christians who I would let pray for me all the time. Because I know where they're coming from. A stranger will not pray for me, I guarantee that. It's just because we go to a church and there's a person, a man or a lady preaching I've never seen before, and because they point to me and they say, I want to pray for you, that doesn't mean I'm going to let them do it. A couple of times I've said no. Because there was just something there, just some kind of vibration that didn't jive with me. So I didn't let them do it. And I'd rather be overcautious than to let somebody pray for me and some bad satanic things pass from them to me. I'm very cautious on that. It's extremely important. We have to understand that. And because that Jacob was touched in the thigh, the Jewish people never eat the thigh of any animal. In Genesis 35:9 through 12, God gave Jacob a blessing, another one. And in this one it was life-giving. It was grace to be fruitful. And that he would see his children become kings of different nations. And they would succeed materialistically also. So we see three things. Fruitfulness. Your children you can be proud of because they become kings and leaders of other nations, and they were materialistically successful also. There's nothing that I like more than to see when my son is happy. when he is content. But there's nothing that hurts more when you see your kids that are not that way, that they're sad, crying, having a hard time in life. I know a certain amount of it is because they do stupid things, just like I did when I was young. I did stupid things. I didn't listen to my mom and dad like I should have. I wasn't raised in a Christian home by any means. But as we learn, and as we go out and do things for the Lord, that's the time that we understand what he wants us to do. So it's really important. I can't say it enough. The blessing of God, we need to grab hold of the kids and pray for them. I don't give a rip what they're into. I don't care what age they are. I wished I would have known this summer when I was with my son. I would have grabbed him and prayed for him and just did everything I could. So, we're not a common people. We are leaders. And we need to not prove that we are leaders, but give to our kids what we have. Sometimes they accept it, sometimes they don't. Well, I've got to stop now. I'm going to go into the next section. In the next section, I'm going to talk to you about the actual blessing that was given to Abraham in Leviticus and Numbers. They're exactly the same words in both. So I'll come out of Numbers in the next one. So I'll see you in a minute.